feel one bit special, I can assure you here. I'm a Rathmullen man at heart, even though I suppose it's a sign of being an elder lemon when I think of it. This year, the 28th of May, I left this town 50 years ago this year. So that gives you an idea that how many miles I have up, a lot. So I don't feel one bit special. But having said that, I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to have been invited here. And I do note from the tickets that this is a presentation function. I'm sure we will all hear in a few minutes who is going to receive these awards, and I'm also very, very sure that they will be well deserving of them. But it's also a night of celebration, and it's a major, as far as I'd be concerned, this is a major achievement. I look at 4 trophies here, and I know, as Noel has said, that 4 or 5 years ago things weren't going so well. Mark and Desi, it's fair to say, came in, and I know from what I hear in the grapevine that they took things in hand, and they instilled discipline that some people would say was necessary, and they also ensured that training was done the way it should be done, and the success is here to see. They laid the foundation, Mark and Desi, there's no doubt about that. I'm sure you won't disagree with me. They won the 2nd division title as it was, then the 1st division title was won. The year after that, the team was to the forefront of the league, but didn't manage to win. The McCormick Cup is here to prove that that was won the year before last. And this year, Paddy Sheridan and Patrick Patton came in as joint managers, and they delivered the Premier title. So you'll appreciate that there has been a great 4 years, and you all deserve great success, the management team. Now think about the players. I know that they have been given great plaudits here by Noel, and that is correct, because the players that are here, the players that were here and have delivered in a big, big way for this club. And I didn't attend too many matches last year, believe it or not. The year before that, I was in Rathmullen quite often at matches. And the one thing that I noticed about the team which gave me great heart was they played with total commitment. And I know that they did the same last year, total commitment. And that's what it's all about. If you're not committed to the cause, then you won't win anything. Regardless of what you're doing in life, if you're not committed, you won't deliver. And they certainly delivered for the club. And they deserve great, great credit for that. So, you know, as an ex-Rathmullen player myself, I have to say that for elder lemons like me, to see the success that you have is very, very gratifying. Because, I mean, you know, Rathmullen joined the league in 82, I think, or 72, and prior to that it was all summer cups. Most of you weren't born when the summer cups were on in a big way, because you're talking about summer cups way back in the 50s and 60s, and that's where Rathmullen Celtic. As a matter of interest, I'll tell you something now. Rathmullen Celtic were founded in 1931. The name Rathmullen Celtic was founded in 1931. Their first cup was won in 1936, and they didn't win another trophy for 15 years. And that's a fact. We won't talk about the 50s and 60s, because that was really success time for Rathmullen Celtic, and they delivered in a big, big way in those years. And then the Donegal League came along, and you'll appreciate that down the years, Rathmullen Celtic dropped out of the Donegal League for a few years, and then came back in again. And as well as the managers that I've talked about, there were other managers there in very difficult times as well, and they were keeping things going, and they kept it ticking over, and they deserve great credit also. Now, another thing I would talk about is that it was mentioned that Shane Aaron came back from England for the final matches this year, and that certainly was great. It was a great sacrifice to make to come over, but the only reason they came, I've no doubt, was they loved to come because they wanted to get involved and play, and Shea, as the captain of the club, certainly delivered in a big, big way. I liked his old style, playing as centre back there myself when I was watching him playing, so he was doing well. As well as that, there's another thing I want to just mention, again, for players that are a little bit further back. I think about Dennis Sheridan travelling for years up from Monaghan, and I think about Eamon Sheridan travelling from Dublin. I'm sure. I'm sure there are other people that made serious commitments as well, and all for the sake of Rathmullen Celtic, so they also deserve great, great credit. Now, again, as I say, it was mentioned here, Mary. I'd like to mention Mary as well. I know Mary is the head down now, but when you think about it, you know, you fellas that are here now as members of Rathmullen Celtic Football Club, past and present, I mean, if you look back at the players who were playing way back years ago for Rathmullen Celtic, your uncles and your fathers, I won't say any of your grandfathers, but anyway, your uncles and your grandfathers were playing in those teams, and certainly they delivered in a big, big way. One other thing that some of you may not remember, or I don't know that some of you weren't even born, but a Rathmullen team in 1982, I think, won the Donegal League final, or Donegal area final of the FAI Junior Cup under the management of Patsy, who's down here at the back. So I'd ask to give Patsy a big round of applause. It's very important to mention that because the Junior Cup, there was roughly about 300 teams in that competition all over Ireland, and Rathmullen, against all odds, beat a Gweedore Celtic team that year. And I know from talking to people who played, and indeed to Patsy, that the Gweedore team were not alone favourites to go out of Donegal, but they were also favourites to win that competition that year. And Rathmullen Celtic went down there with people from Rathmullen and a few from Ramelton, and they won the match 1-0, and the goal was scored by Declan McAteer. So in relation to all those, there's no, as a matter of interest, Mary will kill me for saying this, but I know there's Sherdons and there's Pattons, and I know John and all the rest would played away back in the Summer Cups, and there's McLaughlins and there's Deanies and there's all sorts of names. There's no McAteer in this present Rathmullen team, but by all accounts it won't be too many years before there are, because there's young people coming along, McAteers, Kerry and young Reggie Miller, and get it all right. And then young Edwards, who I know was playing, but he was great when he was here, and hopefully he'll come back to us at some stage in the future, because you know it's a patient old game, but people have to play football, and I'm sure that everybody that wants to play for Rathmullen will get the opportunity to play, and hopefully there'll be more success. Just on, if you can't, you know, you look at this again, and I'm amazed at it all, but I have set objectives in my own mind, and I have told some of the committee here tonight of the objectives, and certainly Rathmullen Celtic at this minute are in a position where they're the whipping boys, let's say. They won't be the whipping boys, but they'll be there, they're top of the pile, and everybody that plays Rathmullen Celtic in the years to come, particularly this coming year, will be out to beat them. That's a fact, and you know that yourselves. They'll play much harder against you because you're the people who are to be knocked off that pedestal. But the objective this year should be, number one, to retain that title. Number two, to put that McCormick Cup beside it here next to you and say we're John. And when he's here, number three should be to win the Donegal area of the FAI Junior Cup at the very least. There's no reason why you couldn't do it. You're there now, get your management team in place. And in relation to managers, and it has been mentioned here that there's a difficulty at the minute convincing people to manage the team. Not an easy job, but I'd like to think that there are people within the club. Maybe Desi and Mark would come out of retirement. Maybe Paddy Sheridan and Patrick Patton would consider giving it another year. Surely when you look at this, you'll say, well, we'll give it a crack for another year and we'll deliver on behalf of Rathmullen Celtic. Because there's a great, as was mentioned by Noel here, you think about the amount of effort that's put in behind the scenes. I mean, I see people, and another man I'd just like to mention, he's not here tonight, is John Todd. John Todd, you'll appreciate those. Any time that John Todd was there, or I was at the match, John Todd was there, he was lining, or he was doing it on the line or doing something. So John has been with us for years as well in the various roles. And again, you know, not to go Mark Curran as well. Curran was a very familiar name in the Summer Cups away years ago as well. And you know, so it's all there, and it's hopefully the future will deliver more trophies and similar trophies to have here tonight. Again, thanks for having me here. Sorry for boring you. I hope that you have a great night. It's important to have a good night because it's important to enjoy yourselves because this is a night of congratulations as well as presentation. Continue to give the 110% that you've given in the last number of years, and hopefully the backroom team will stay with you. Hopefully the tea will still be made on a Sunday afternoon. and hopefully we'll be here next year celebrating again. And there's no truth in the fact that Ollie is trying to sign me for Finn Harris.
We're also just making a small presentation on behalf of the club to January of the last month, so I think next week.